Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. Thank you so much for joining us for another day, for another invigorating and wonderfully enlightening conversation. Let's take a moment and think about why we come together as a Goldilocks community and what are we trying to accomplish in this Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks conversations so that we can all work at getting things just right. Imagine Goldilocks as a young girl. Even as a young girl, she knew exactly how to get things accomplished. She knew she wanted her porridge, her soup, not to be too hot, not to be cold. She wanted it just right. She knew that where she sat and where she slept, her chair and her bed, shouldn't be too hot, it shouldn't be too hot. It needed to be just right. We were that child. We knew that when we were young. Somewhere along the way, as we become adults, most of us tend to forget that there is a balance and we need to get things just right. It's not about what I think I need or want and get stuck in that place. But look at the whole perspective and figure out what is the right way to approach, where is that right balance? And you may ask, Dr. Cass, why should I care about it? Because, I am an individual, I have a right to live my life, and I want what I want. But think about what that underlying meaning is. Research shows that we can all influence only 3 levels from where we are, only 3 levels. That means if I come from an extreme right end of a perspective, I can only influence people who are 3 levels towards the center because I'm already in the extreme right. If I come from the extreme left, I too can only influence 3 levels towards the center because I am already in the extreme left. But imagine if I understood how that particular situation affects me, but I also do the homework and take perspective on how that same situation is affecting different people. And I come from that place of understanding, from that place of compassion, that place of empathy. Now, all of a sudden, I find myself in the middle, somewhere left or right of center in the middle. And now I can influence 3 levels to my right, 3 levels to my left, and everybody in that central lane. And that is what leadership is. My own selfish purposes cannot be accomplished if I take an extreme position and get stuck on it. Isn't that what's wrong with the world politics? Isn't that what's wrong with all the community issues today? People take a position and they do not want to see another's perspective. But if one person's benefit comes from the destruction of another, then why should a community come together? What does it take for a leader to find that middle ground and lead from that middle? And therein lies the secret sauce. And that is how we get it just right. And when we get it just right, we get to build shared prosperity because we are mindful. We are coming from that centeredness, and we are putting everybody's pros and cons on the table to be mindful. Imagine your own purpose. Your purpose sits at the intersection of what you love, what you're great at, and what the world needs. You can't even find your purpose or live your purpose if you don't find the centeredness within yourself. And how that centeredness within yourself then finds its place within the community you serve. Because if you don't find that centeredness, your purpose doesn't get to be brought to daylight. It doesn't get to be showcased. And what happens if you don't get to live your purpose and you don't get to shine and bring to the world what is uniquely you? The world is going to miss out on you. And we don't want anybody to be missed in the world because everybody is unique, everybody is different, and everybody has something to bring to the world. As we go into today's conversation, and you're going to absolutely love my guest today, I want us to take 3 nuggets of wisdom, food for thought, into our conversation. Compassionate leaders make miracles possible. Why do I say that? Miracles could be the acts of kindness by those who shine their light to others. Miracles don't happen because something fell from the sky. Miracles happen because a caring, compassionate, thoughtful human being decided to do something good for somebody else. What does it take to be that kind of a leader? What does it take for us to have the kind of leader who can make those miracles possible and make that kind of kindness and that compassion and putting that greater good contagious? It's not COVID. That's the only thing that's contagious. We can make goodness and our humanity contagious. The second food for thought I want us to take into the conversation is grace in turbulence times is leadership courage. When there are challenges, we shouldn't have to be running around like a chicken with our head cut off. Handling things with grace, being calm and collected, and coming from that centeredness is what a leader does. And a leader leads the way to show everybody how to dance through the challenges of life, because that can be joyous. In spite of the challenges, we can learn to dance through our challenges, just like we can sing and dance through the rainstorm. The third concept I want us to take into the conversation is purposeful leadership builds shared prosperity. Purposeful leadership, it has to come from a place of purpose. So flexing with finesse is leadership with purpose. Flexing means being flexible, being able to be agile. And finesse is about not playing a power game, but playing a game that is thoughtful, that is agile, that takes all the moving pieces into consideration. And when a leader does that, they are able to employ their skills and capabilities to build shared prosperity so that everybody can win. If I win and everybody else loses, everybody has a paid incentive not to let me succeed. So my own success is predicated on me helping everybody succeed, because then they get to show up. They have a reason to show up. So today it is my honor and my great pleasure to have our local mayor, Mayor Earl Trapp Jr., on this program to talk about leading local governments for economic development in challenging times, and why Mayor of San Ignacio, Santa Elena, and why today, you might ask. He is from Belize. As most of you know, I have my second home in Belize, and I live in the community that Mayor Earl Trapp leads. And I have seen the way he governs. I have seen the way he runs a coalition government. And he is able to bring that centeredness into the world every day. Let me give you a brief introduction and then bring him on. Mayor Earl Trapp was born in the late 60s to Aurelia and Earl Trapp Sr. to be raised amongst 7 girls and 2 boys. He received a scholarship and graduated with a degree in computer science from County of College of Monterey in Randolph, New Jersey in 1992. He later landed a job at Belize Telemedia Limited for 23 years. That's when he decided to cut track into the political arena. He was a grassroots young individual and was a well-known sales boy selling buns and bread and pandas and popcorn to help take care of his family. He is a person that believes in health and wellness, with a passion for agriculture that is geared to self-sustainability. He dedicates his leisure time to football, where he served as a FIFA referee and as the chairman of the Cayo Football Association from 2012 to present, and also has a passion for agriculture that is geared towards sustainability. He has impeccable character, a man of integrity, humility. He's hardworking and he's committed. He served as a counselor for 12 years. His humble behavior has triggered him to be a successful mayor of San Ignacio Santa Elena Town Council for 3 consecutive terms. And he is indeed a role model for future leaders and present leaders. And what he embodies more than anything else is being a coalition government leader and leading a team from the other party while putting the interest of the community first. So Mayor Earl Trapp Jr., it is my honor and my pleasure to invite you to join this conversation and share your wisdom with us. You're muted, sir.
Yes, Doc. Good morning and good morning, everyone. Indeed, I'm very much humbled to be on this program this morning. It's a pleasure for me to share with you our experiences here in this municipality. That, like you rightly said, it takes a lot of thought, a lot of humility, a lot of patience, and in bringing people together, bringing a team together that will have and share the same common vision. At the end of the day, what we're looking for is serving the people of this municipality.
Absolutely. And I am a visitor, a homeowner visitor who lives in your community at the pleasure of those who are native. And I am already seeing the benefit and the joy. And I have spent time in the community to see how you show up and how you take the time and listen to people and build that relationship with the community so that the community feels supported. That is probably the single reason why you got reelected during a wave of change of government. You're the only person at the top who's from a different party, right? So what advice do you have for leaders of both government and private sector on the importance of the humanity and the humility, why that makes you a successful leader, and how that allows you and enables you to serve?
Well, Doc, I must first say that in life and in everything that you do, you must be a true leader. A leader that thinks for himself, a leader that is objective and independent-minded thinking. I will say, because I talk from the heart, and this is one of the reasons why I am here still as the mayor, and this is one of the reasons why some of my former colleagues couldn't get along with me. Because the colors. When I'm here as the mayor, I'm here as the mayor for the people. I will be blunt here. For example, if someone would come here at my office with some sort of needs, I would say, for example, they have a debt in the family. I don't ask them which part they belong to or they are affiliated with. Or if, for example, we are working on a street, and on that street, I know that there are a stream of houses with people living here that are affiliated with the opposite party. That will not stop me from paving that street. We for the people. Whenever people call me to come out and see a problem that are affecting them in their neighborhood, I visit the area and I humbly try to serve them. If we cannot do it right away, I tell them that, you know what, give me some time and we will deal with it. If I see it that it's very urgent, then I stop the works in another area and I bring the equipment here and we work from there. But I believe communication and respect as well. Those are very key things that will take you far in life.
Absolutely. And I have seen you do this. And I have seen you help people who don't even have a vote, right? So it's a matter of caring about the other lives that are impacted and coming from that place of service. And you're right, respecting humanity for what humanity is and making sure it's about the community. And that is something that is missing today all over the world, because everybody is so tied to my party, my people, my church, my religion, my language. Everything gets so polarized. And this is why how you run the community becomes so valuable to talk about and showcase. So what are some of the challenges you face when these kind of mixed communities and mixed situations happen, because you're continuously needing to balance?
Before that, I would just like to quickly say that we need more leaders in this world. that are God-fearing. I think that is very key. We need some more religious leaders to run our country. And in doing so, I believe that the people will be well served. So very key. We need to turn to more God-fearing people to become leaders in this community. People that are honest and sincere with themselves and with God.
Absolutely.
But some of the challenges that I personally have faced in the past year, I think it was just coming on to I would say the first year. I think the first year have been somewhat very challenging in that many like you said, it's a coalition team here, and I think my team, like I've said to them, I think you all bring something great to the table, something of interest that can definitely help us to develop this community. But one thing we must learn is that we must be fair and impartial whenever we are executing our duties. We have to be very much ethical. We have to be more like in politics. We always talk about when we come here, we want to be able to show the people what we are doing and be able to at the end of the day reconcile with whatever we have been sent. In other words, we need to be accountable to the people for everything that we do. And I think at times, and in this case, some of our members have allowed forces from outside to basically, I think, influence them, but allowed, and in other words, it basically slowed down some of the works that we had pending. And I can say as well that at this time, we have been able to trash out most of the differences in areas where they had doubts. We have the paperwork there to show that nothing wrong was going on. In everything that we do, we must budget for it. We might maybe remove some finances from this project and take it to another project, but it was spent well and accountable. And I can tell you that the only difference that we did when 2 years ago, when COVID were affecting us seriously, we had to remove monies from projects and bring it to monies that could more impact the people socially, because at that time we have so many people out of jobs, people with maybe some illness and couldn't go to the doctor. And at that time, we couldn't as well force people to come and pay their taxes. So we had to be prudently, we had to manage our finances prudently and balance everything that we do. And at the same time, ensure that we continue with the daily works in the community. That the picking up of the garbage had to be done. That's number one priority. We had to keep our community very clean. And at the same time, we had to support, even though it's not the works of the municipality to support the community financially or with food, but because we are a people of heart and know that the people are in need, then we had to go this way and support the people. So it was a balancing of the equation there. And of course, the community that had to be a part of this initiative as well. And I'm very much thankful and grateful to the community that supported us when we really needed it, even up to today. Without the community, the business community, we wouldn't survive. They are the pillars of our economy. So it's key to always involve our business community in whatever we do.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up some very important points: accountability, making sure that there's transparency and governance. All of those are critical in building trust. But you also touched on the challenging times we're in. We started with COVID, went into unemployment, went into supply chain issues. Belize is one of those Caribbean, Central American countries where a lot of things come from the outside. And when the supply chain is disrupted, the cost goes up. You don't get what you need when you need, all of those delays. And now we have the Russian invasion into Ukraine, which is affecting the entire oil marketplace. Gas is going up in price. Inflation is setting in. So these are not easy times. These are difficult times. How can we in the community, how can businesses, community members, not-for-profits, and those who care about Belize and the communities here, how can we partner with you to make this difficult time work for all of us? Because it's not something that any one person can do alone. It's going to take all of us.
Yes, that is so true, Doc. And I can tell you that the business community have always been or this council's right arm. And every year we would visit the association of businesses and see how we can come together to support the community, especially like you rightly said, in these challenging times. And we have organized several blowout sales that will allow business to take out all their goods in front of their premises. We would close off the downtown area, the business area, and allow them the opportunity to display their goods on the reduced price. And this will help them to get rid of the big stock that they would have. And at the same time, it will help the community to come and buy goods at a more affordable rate. So this allows people to stretch their little finances that they have been putting up and they need to take out. So this has certainly helped us with the business. And then we would talk to the business as well. This is a little different, but we will come to that whenever we come to the part of basically talking about our being environmentally friendly with the foam cups and the plates and the using the use of water bottles and different things. But yes, the business community have really played a big role in helping us like that. And as well, whenever we have events, we would go to the business, and business would always be a part of the sponsoring some gifts and other things that we can give back some to the community, and they can come out and have a good time with the children.
Mm-hmm. And I have seen some of those sidewalk sales, and it also was a COVID-friendly way of getting people out and about. You're out in the open, right? So that has been with music, with food, with all the other things around, it has been a nice way to bring the community together. And you also touched on the environmental issues. So we are actually organizing a collection of plastic to repurpose the plastic into planters to teach children how to plant and grow their own food. And these are all things that are near and dear to your heart. And you and your administration have been partnering with us. You've given us permission to use the Hillview Park for our event on the 23rd. So thank you. Thank you very much for helping us get the community engaged and do our part to help the administration and the community. But what are the ways in which we can become more responsible environmentally? And how can we partner with our elected leaders?
Will you say one more thing?
Yeah. So how can we best understand your mission and how the environmental sustainability and environmental safety is being led under your administration, and as folks who live in the community, as businesses who are in the community, how can we help in that?
Okay. Well, what we have been doing with the business community and the community in general, we have been trying our best to promote no use of the plastic and foam cups. We have been asking and promoting the use of water containers as well, rather than buying a bottle of water and throwing away the bottle. We encourage people to reuse, get water bottles and just refill their bottles. We have been encouraging the residents within the municipalities as well to, whenever they bag their garbage, if they can help us to recycle, and that helps to better manage the picking up and the disposal of their garbage as well. And when it comes to living or a sustainable future, many of us here in San Ignacio and in the country of Belize will always complain about the prices of food, the prices of vegetables, the prices of fruits at the market or where you buy it. But how many of us have taken the initiative to grow our own vegetables? It is simple, it is basic. All it takes is an hour a day. Clean your garden and to nurture the plants. You know, I have always believed, Doc, I've always believed in the adage of saying, teach a man to catch a fish rather than giving him a fish. You know, you give him a fish today, he eats a fish. Today, tomorrow he comes back, he wants another fish. So I strongly believe in teaching a man to catch a fish, and he will catch a fish for the rest of his life. For the rest of his life, he'll be able to sustain his family. You know, so I will tell you, before we go into the gardening, I will tell you that when I just assumed office in 2015, I was highly criticized by the community. And the community, or some people were saying that I will be a one-term mayor. Well, that's their opinion, no? And I continued to do what I was doing. My main thing was I was trying to develop a plan, to carry out a plan that will see development in this community, and one that will help people to become more independent and self-sufficient. And I can tell you, that was for the first 6 months after I was interviewed, 6 to 8 months. 4 months later, I was interviewed, or almost 6 months, and the same guy said that, Mayor, I'm hearing things different. You know, but it's the way you govern, it's the way you teach people how to care out themselves and how we should live and how the development evolved and where we were at the end of that term. And I can tell you the people came out wholeheartedly and gave me that support. And like you rightly said in the opening of this program, that there must have to be something different and good that I have been doing for me to be elected. When we have that blue wave, I was still elected to be the mayor here. But coming back to the sustainability, I believe that if we would take 1 hour out of our lives every day, and if we would work our garden in our backyards, we can always have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables that can sustain us. And I can tell you, we can work together with other families. We grow certain vegetables, you grow other vegetables, and what we do is we share, or we would interchange.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good way in working together and building a community that is bonded together. I think that's very key.
Absolutely, Mayor. And you already know this. I moved to Belize to care for my cancer patient husband because Belize is so blessed by Mother Nature. I can grow everything I need for his health here, whether it's chaya, whether it's moringa, whether it is the star fruit. Everything can be grown here, even tamarind, right? So I can happily say in a year of living here and growing everything that is healthy for him and cooking from scratch at home, he's officially in remission. And
Wow.
to me, I am so grateful to have the opportunity to move into a community that is embracing and supportive and giving us a place to be. And now what we want to do is spread that joy to the others. And Miss Margaret Usher and I are actually running an event on the 23rd as part of our Usher Henry initiative, working with your administration, Mayor, to teach young people on how to recycle plastic and use those as planting containers, even if you don't have soil to plant. You can do container gardening, and the agricultural ministry is working with us to give us seedlings, whether we're going radishes, whether we are going cabbage. We are going to get 4 different kinds of plants, and we're going to stay with the young children ages 8 to 15, and we are going to monitor how well they're growing and then teach them how to exchange it, how to barter it, how to get together and sell it, how to think of economics, money, savings, and truly instill that in their mindset, because there's joy in growing and eating what you grow.
That is very true, Doc. And I can tell you that's one of the reasons why I developed a passion for agriculture. You get that satisfactory feeling whenever you can see your plants grow. And when it's time to harvest, when you can go and harvest a tomato,
Mm-hmm.
carrot, or something right from your garden, and you can just wash and clean it and eat it right there. It is so satisfying. And I know that, and you guys are on the right track because you are targeting the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And good, like you rightly said, to instill this from very young in them. They will grow and love it and do it with a passion. And that's what we need. And you said one thing there that I really appreciate as well. If you don't want to trade, you have just fruits or vegetables in abundance, then you can sell the fruits or the vegetables, and you can open an account and begin saving money. This is the way that someone can build him or herself in life. I believe in that discipline. Many of us don't have that discipline, that saving discipline, and it's very key. That would be a part of this training as well. And I believe that's what you meant there, no?
Yes.
What many of us here are lacking, I don't know how to mention it, but if I would say maybe we have too much false pride. I've mentioned this word to people, but people don't understand what is false pride, But we have the fruits right in our very backyard that we can utilize, the things that are healthy. Like you said, the chaya grows wild. We have the
Moringa.
spinach.
Uh-huh.
We have the kalalu.
Mm-hmm.
Those healthy foods that has some very good properties for healing, and still people don't want the healthy foods. What they want to go to the Chinese to buy a fried chicken. I mean, we have to resort to the healthy foods, and we can live a longer life on the face of this earth.
Absolutely. And Mother Nature has blessed Belize. It's
Yes,
time for us to, I mean, if people like me are coming from the outside to get the benefit of it, we need to get people to realize how proud they need to be for what they were already gifted.
yes, exactly. Belize has been blessed. I can tell you, blessed with. I mean, we are a multicultural
Cultural.
community. You know, we have everything in the mountains in our very backyards, and we have Mother Nature. We have everything here, and what we need to do is to just take time out and appreciate and make the best of it. Indeed, many people, like you said, come from abroad to enjoy, and we are right here, maybe ignorant to the fact that we have it, or maybe we just don't have we need the enthusiasm to begin to do things better and in a healthier way.
And maybe it's because if we've always had it, we don't value it, right? In my culture, I'm originally from Sri Lanka, and what we say is when you have sunlight all year through, you don't value it until you've lost your eyesight, and then you're trying to look at the sun and you've lost your sight, right? But when you live in a city like Chicago in Canada and the US, which is where I've been living for the last 28 years, and we don't see the sun and it's so cold, oh my God, a 40-degree day is a heat wave and everybody is in shorts, right? So when you're in minus 65, 40 is great. But when you are living in a society where it's 70 to 105 all year through, maybe we don't appreciate what we have. And so that's why the community coming together, the insiders, the outsiders, the visitors, everybody getting together and talking and sharing and enjoying what we've been blessed with. To me, that is our strength.
That as well, to add to that, I've always said that at times we don't listen to wisdom. We don't listen to our elders. You know, we prefer to suffer for us to learn. You know, and I don't know why we have to do that. If we would listen to our parents and elders, we would be very, very successful. 99% of the time, you would be successful in life. And we would see the light at the end of the tunnel all the time.
Absolutely, because they've learned from their mistakes, right? The old saying goes, smart people learn from other people's mistakes. The ones who are not that smart have to make their own mistakes. So I'm 100% with you, Mayor. And before I open this up for a conversation with our international audience here, I want to once again thank you for your administration and your office's support in this Usher Henry initiative to work with the youth. And we also invite you to come to the event on the 23rd between 2:30 and 2:45 to share a few words and encourage the youth, because you were one of the youth in this community growing up, and see where you are and what you're doing. I think your inspirational words will actually inspire future leaders.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to open it up, and I can see Wolfgang, you are ready to say something, so go ahead. Wolfgang is my friend from Berkshire Hathaway, and he's originally from Guatemala, from across the border, Mayor. Go ahead, Wolfgang.
Thank you, Dr. Cass, and a pleasure to meet you, Mayor Earl, Mayor Trapp.
Yes.
Yeah, you must know me real well, Dr. Cass, because I was bursting in from the first moment that the Mayor started talking about this excitement about what you're doing there, and really take my hat off to you, because one of the first things that you said is you're leading from the heart, and it's
Yes.
difficult to find those leaders who do that and admit it, for lack of another word. Computer say, oh, yo, I'm an intellectual, I went to all these colleges, as opposed to, you know what, I'm gonna do what's right for my community. And it seems like for here you saying that's what you're doing. Another thing that struck me is you talk about needing more God-fearing leaders, and and that doesn't mean that you have to align with a specific religion, but leaders that understand that there's a bigger power that reigns over us, if you will, or that we have to be accountable to, not only our people but somebody upstairs, right? So that's another thing that really struck me. Like Dr. Cass said, I was born and raised in Guatemala. I live in the United States now for almost 40, a little over 40 years. But I always kept my heart for the people of Guatemala and the people of Belize. I've never been to Belize. unfortunately. But just recently, believe it or not, I was watching a YouTube channel of a young lady who was going through a motorcycle through all of Latin America. And she crossed the border between Guatemala and Belize. And the first town that she went to is San Ignacio. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I can see where Dr. Kaz lives. I mean, not exactly her place, but just the area. But one of the things that struck me is all the land that is there that you can do something with, as you were talking about. I'm sorry, yeah, all the land that could be that's arable that can be used for planting vegetables or fruits, you know. And I'm thinking to myself as I was seeing that, now that I hear you talk, is all the opportunities not only to provide locally for the Belizeans, you know how you say, but also to be able to export. I mean, think about papayas from Belize being sold in Florida, or moringa, or more chai, I'm sorry, chia seeds. So I guess I'm just being introduction because I'm just excited to hear and see what you're doing. I would love to come visit you and be a part of helping you someday. One question, one thing that I saw in that video, that young lady, is that there are a lot of Mennonite communities that are living in Belize, some part of the country, and they seem to be self-sustainable. And I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity to partner or learn from them, as Dr. Cass with the Usher Henry initiative, because they come with that knowledge and they seem to be self-sustainable. So what can Belizeans learn from them or teach them so that the country can be more self-sustainable from that point of view? So that's on the gardening part. And then the other one is the recycling. As you talked about the use of some of those bottles and cups and everything. And is there any initiative in Belize that wants to convert also those materials to something usable for bricks, for benches in parks or something like that? Anyway, I know it's a lot of questions, but first of all, I'm just delighted that Dr. Cass invited me to come to this session, and also that I get a chance to meet you, even if it's through video.
Thank you, sir, and thanks for those accolades and advice. But yes, there are some initiatives to use the recyclable materials, but I believe that we need more support from the government. At the moment, we have some entrepreneurs working on recycling the bottles, making blocks out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they need more support from the government. As well, we have other initiatives from investors that would like to come and recycle the garbage and turn it into to fuel. But again, I don't believe that we are getting the full support from the government. And I think that at times we have just too much in the country. We have to really change away from that. And if a company or some people want to come and open a business as such, give them some sort of incentive rather than trying to charge them taxes for everything. Give incentive for some time that they would be able to turn over their profit, and then you begin charging them some sort of tax. But we need to give investors more incentives to do business in Belize and protect their investment. That is very key. And then when you said about the available lands for agriculture here, we do have just too much lands that we are not utilizing. And I would attribute it to maybe many Belizeans are not into agriculture. Agriculture initially was our number one revenue generator. But I hate to say it, but we have too many lazy people. People have to change their way of doing things. They have to be more ambitious. No, I believe that should help the business community, especially after we've been through this COVID-19 crisis, where our number one revenue generator, which is tourism, was basically, I would say, it was crushed. We had to revert back to agriculture. what the government needs to do is provide a plot of land for people that are willing to do agriculture, and it's not just providing, but supporting.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in doing so, the government will encourage a lot more Belizeans to become farmers. And my suggestion and recommendation is for the government to give, I wouldn't even say, if you will do just vegetables, I believe that 2 to 5 acres is enough.
Mm-hmm.
You provide that for the people that want to do agriculture, but with conditions that they cannot sell this property. This is for solely agriculture, and you will be monitoring them. If they're not utilizing, then you will take it over from them. Then after 20 years or 25 years, they can own the land, provided that they have been working the land. I think that is very key, and that will help us to be more sustainable. Basically, the government would provide them support to help clearing the place, give them sessions on how to grow the vegetables, and as well provide support as the vegetables are growing to ensure that things are going good. How can we support? How can we help you? And I believe that that is one way that people would get into our culture. And then 3, and very importantly, they need to add value to help us to add value to the products. And what they can do is maybe construct or get an industry that will help us to package the food and add value to it for them. That would definitely, if we can get all the support, believe me, 5 acres of land would maybe be too little for us farmers, because we want to go big and do everything. So long as we have the vegetables there piling up, and we can sell it to the canning food, to the canning factory, then I believe we are on the right track. But I think that is very key. And then you said that the Mennonites community have been very much industrious and self-sustainable. That is true, because there are people that came from a country where I believe they had their basics and maybe things were harder. They came here, were given the opportunity, and because of their ambition and their vision, they are able to do, or they are able to be where they are today. And that is what we are lacking: vision, and enthusiasm to really do something in life. I just hope that yes, we can do the same, but at times we don't believe in ourselves. We have to have that high esteem, that believe in ourselves, and in doing so, we'll be able to develop ourselves and develop this country the way and where it's supposed to be.
Okay. No,
Beautifully
thank you so much.
said, Mayor. Beautifully said. And thank you so much, Wolfgang, for sharing your thoughts on that question. Go ahead, Robin.
Just a quick question. Thank you so much. I can totally feel your enthusiasm and your energy and your love for your people. I just had a quick question. You know, government is notorious for having lots and lots of red tape. And so my question is, how do you balance, you know, following all these rules and kind of being bound by them, while also engaging in your amazing flexibility to, you know, to be flexible in solving problems? So how do you balance, you know, being kind of constrained within rules, but also how can you, you know, find ways to get the job done, you know, to make it work? Maybe not because of or in spite of these constraints.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. I think that is very key. Like I said at the initial part of Doc's introduction, one true way of moving forward is through being humble, through being respectful, and through humility. As I just said, you have to look out for support, look out for more wisdom, and the support that I don't have here, I seek it elsewhere. And one has to be very strong. And I can tell you, it's not only being strong, but having God on your side. Once God is with you, nobody can be against you. I can tell you that. And I have remained strong because I know for a fact deep in my heart that I have not been doing anything wrong. My conscience have always been clear, so I stood for what is right. What has been illegal, unprofessional, immoral, unethical, and I will say even evil, I will not cope with. If I would go to the loss, I will fight it with whomever is trying to bring me down, but I will not give up. Because I know at the end of the day, once I'm right, I'm in the right path, I will continue to fight. And I believe that that's what have been able to keep me where I am today. And I will say praise to God that we have been able to amicably resolve most of the situations by working together as a team and ensuring that the team knows what is the vision of this town council, being very persistent, tenacious, and enthusiastic about what we do. That's the only way we will be able to move this community forward, and that has helped me, and that has me where I am today.
Wonderful, beautiful answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I can honestly say that I've had the pleasure of having a front row seat to watch that. So thank you. Thank you for all you do. Miss Usher, Margaret, is there something you want to add to this conversation?
Well, I just want to say, I know the mayor personally for many years. We crossed paths in the U.S. and stuff like that. But everything that we talked about today, he answered all the questions like leadership, share our skills, be sincere, wisdom, transparent, humble, and respect. I mean, all the questions, all the answers, it's already been answered. And I hope to see him in a couple of weeks at the event. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Bowie, do you have any thoughts to add as the medical professional here in the economy that's dealing with the pandemic?
No, I really thank the mayor for his time today. It's been a pleasure to listen to him and Dr. Cash, your thoughts on this. And like I said, he mentioned about something that kind of resonate with me was about the inclusive leadership. Is that he is open to others providing him advice. And it's not, sometimes when people are in leadership position, they do not reach out. And he is a perfect example of servant leadership, is people that are actually serving his people. And he's humble, which he mentioned a couple of times. So, we need more leaders like this. That is not just lip service, but actual doing it through action. And so from the conversation, I see he's a man of action and not words. So that is great to see a leader put forth action to make a better world instead of just lip service. So I appreciate his efforts.
Doc, if you allow me as well, indeed. Thank you very much, Doc, for that comment. Yes, indeed, I have always been leading by example. And I will tell you what, it's not to showcase or show off. It's just in me, who I am, how I operate. I get involved in the day-to-day operations, especially on weekends. You would see me physically involved with the guys working out there. I would get in the drain. I would deal with garbage. I would deal with just about anything that our workers are doing out there. That is one thing that I do with my employees. And two, I will tell you, like you rightly said just now, Doc, leading by example. Again, I encourage people to do backyard gardening and plant their own vegetables. I can tell you I do that in my backyard, and I have my little farm that I have been cultivating. And I can tell you, whenever I have fruits and vegetables in excess, I would sell some or I would give away some. I would share with my family and friends. So right now I can tell you I have avocado, which I've been enjoying for the past, I've been eating avocado for the past month. When avocado wasn't available, I had avocado and I continue to enjoy it. I have some good lemons there, and just the different kind of fruits and vegetables. I personally have been cultivating habanero peppers, and in cultivating habanero peppers, I've been adding value to it by converting it to a hot pepper sauce. So all these things, and that is something that I am passionate about and hoping to maybe venture into in the future whenever I demit office here in San Ignacio and Santa Elena.
No, I have an avocado and a mango tree in my backyard, so I do get what you're saying. And but thank you for your time today, and your insights and sharing your time with us today. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too, Doc.
Thank you, Dr. Bowie. And Maya, thank you so much for all you do for the community, the heart with which you show up, and also sharing your wisdom today and helping everybody see how we can build a better community. So as we bring this to a close, if there is one thing we can all come together, regardless of where we are, regardless of what we do, what can we do to come together to make Santa Elena, San Ignacio as a twin town successful? And how can we contribute to your vision and mission and the council's purpose?
All right, I will end by saying that I will use a quote from President John Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
You ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I believe in civic pride, and civic pride is a big topic, and I think basically what we can do is basically clean the front of your property. By you doing that part, believe me, if the community here in San Ignacio, if half of the community would clean in front of their properties, imagine the amount of money that this council would be saving. One whereby we could use that money to develop something else in our community. We could use that to build a park, to begin the construction of a market, begin the construction of a learning resource center, something like that, That is very key if we can develop that sense of civic pride. And we can, of course, park and think more on agriculture. Agriculture is life. I think the time will come when we won't be able to buy food. We'll have the money. So right now, we need to create more farmers. And I hope that the government will be listening in, the leaders in government, and they will basically come up with a program that will see people applying for a parcel of land of 5 acres where they can develop, and hopefully the government will provide the support that they need, the support that will encourage them, the support that will incentivize them, And I believe once they have that and they can see that their hard is basically paying off and they are seeing their way, believe me, many more people will come into our culture and something that this country needs. And then whenever we can add the value to our products, we can begin to export.
Mm-hmm.
Export, and the importation, and we will slow down the importation of so many goods in this country, and we would be able to develop a lot more faster. So if we can turn to more agriculture and a little backyard gardening, starting with that, I believe that you'll be able to help the local government and the central government, and of course, help your family to develop at the same time.
Beautifully said, Mayor Trapp Jr. And the Usher Henry Foundation is committed to that mission. That is part of our sustainability vision. So we look forward to, as we formulate our not-for-profit and as we get involved in the community more and more, the Asher Henry Foundation looks forward to partnering with you and making this vision possible, because we do believe that if we don't put our hands in the soil, we will never get the opportunity to put our hands in the food. So thank you so much for your time, sir.
But that, before you close up, that many people don't know because they have not been through it. But you know, putting your hands in the soil, playing with the soil, that is a sort of therapy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, believe me, that distresses me. And at the end of the day, more what you see and what gives you that self-satisfaction is when you see the end product of what you began here tilling the soil. You see that fruit and you're able to eat that fruit. I think that is very satisfactory and encouraging.
Absolutely. And with that beautifully said words of wisdom, we bring this wonderful conversation to an end, but we look forward to having you back on another episode, Mayor, to continue this conversation and maybe even get some youth involved in this conversation. So thank you, everybody, for engaging with us. Thank you for keeping an open heart and an open mind, and actually take on the challenge of growing something, because we all have the opportunity to bring something into this world, and bringing it through our own hands, with our own heart. There's nothing more empowering than that. Please go and watch this and other episodes on Transform with Dr. Cass on YouTube channel. We cannot wait to continue to grow this Goldilocks community, and making sure that we work together for our shared prosperity. We work together to get it just right. Because remember, every human interaction is our opportunity for transformation. Go out there, meet people, share your thoughts, and transform lives. And in that process, please don't forget to transform your own.